Hey, you guys seen Branson? What?
Hey, no, no, I haven't.
What? Are you doing? Is that the Billy Blake's workout?
Yeah, stop judging me.
Are you wearing spandex?
Yes.
Did you say something about Branson?
Yeah, where's he at?
Yeah, he said something about trying to fix the taco machine's existential crisis and that idiocy that got programmed into it about hot dogs being tacos.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Well, you know what? I did hear a noise like an ejection system going off earlier while I was practicing my Irish kung fu here.
Wait, what?
What an idiot.
Prepare yourself to discover a world of terrible movies. High above the planet Geekery, a group of intrepid explorers hover over the dangerous planet in their fabulous super-orbital spacecraft. Their mission? To conduct a complete analysis of movies known throughout the universe as terrible. So grab your space popcorn, grab your freeze-dried ice cream, and join us for today's mission of discovery and wonder. Are these movies better than the galaxy thinks? Or do they really belong on the bottom shelf?
Hello and welcome to The Bottom Shelf, the show where we watch critically terrible movies because we have nothing else better to do and we hate our lives. The Bottom Shelf is an extension of Geek Devotions, the show from devoted geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. So if you do not listen past this moment, know this: you are loved, you are cared for, and there is a plan and a purpose for your life. And since we're releasing this just on St. Patrick's Day, I just want to greet you in Irish and give you a warm Irish St. Patrick's Day welcome. So, Benacléitli Fianna Patrick Court to all of my Irish friends that you're going to be listening to. With that being said, my name is Kevin. I am... My mind just went blank on me. And here is my friends, my mates. With that, here is Dallas.
Hey, how's it going? Glad to be here today with you guys.
Are you glad?
I am glad.
Super
I don't
glad.
hate my life. Do you need a hug? Is it because I walked in you with your stretchy pants doing Billy Blankston
Well, sometimes when
workouts?
Sometimes men wear stretchy pants, for fun. Okay.
For fun.
Do they make you feel pretty, Kevin?
That got awkward.
But let me go ahead and just turn off. I gotta stop this VHS. There. Okay. Hit the stop button. Okay. And with that, also here is John. Say hi, John.
Hi, John.
Okay. Cool. There. We got that out of the way. Okay. So we've got some plans and things to do today. As you can see, I was practicing my Irish Kung Fu because of what happened last time. Making sure I can get myself prepared for that.
It was not my fault. I might have been in the background, like yelling at the guys, maybe screaming, "Where my gold at?" But I was not part of putting in the bag over your head.
That's why I was looking for Branson myself, because he has my burlap sack.
Yeah. And what you going to do with that burlap sack this time?
That's a big old glass of Nunya. Nunya business.
He's got jokes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, we have a movie to watch. Have you been keeping track on Branson on his tracker device? See how he's doing? Because he does. I think he has a tracker device on the suit, right?
We did implant it into the back of his ankle when he was asleep the other night.
Okay, I didn't know he was in prison.
If I can't leave, he can't either.
Well, like I said,
we'll find him.
You have to
find Bryson.
You have to expect the unexpected. Now, I do have a movie that I have right here in this VHS I've been wanting to share with you guys, since it's a cult film back in Ireland, and it's surprisingly about Irish Kung Fu. Something you might be interested in.
Did you say Irish Kung Fu?
Irish Kung Fu. Irish Ninja.
Is that what
Irish
you were
karate.
doing in there just a minute ago?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
That's exactly what I was doing in there.
Yeah, it was Billy O. Blanks.
I kind of felt blanked in my mind doing it, but yeah, I did.
What is this film about?
This film is, well, I just told you it's Irish Kung Fu, but the title of the movie is called Fatal Deviation. It was made in 1998. So, Fatal Deviation, it is directed by Shay Casserley and Simon Lisha. It is written, co-produced, cinematography, stunts, casting, and starring James P. Bennett. It also has
quite a bit of work there.
Yeah, apparently he had full control of this film. Imagine that. It's like his
Is
own.
he a big shot? Is he like a superstar at the time?
No, I guess
Is
he kind of figured himself.
Is this like the Tom Cruise? Is it the Irish Tom Cruise? Tommy O'Cruise?
Think of him more like M. Night Shyamalan.
He's more like M. Night Shyamalan. Oh.
Yeah, think of M. Night Shyamalan.
So
Full
his
control.
career is over after this film too?
Is this the Irish Avatar?
That's James Cameron. Avatar.
Irish Last Airbender. How about that?
It also has Michael Graham from the Irish boy band Boyzone, which apparently I've recently discovered nobody doesn't know what I'm talking about because they were actually bigger than NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
No idea.
I guess they just never made it. They never made it here to the States. Like they're just like the second highest grossing boy band in the whole world at the time in the 90s. Film editor by,
If you say so.
I do say so. Also, there's a film editor by John Cook, not John Cook that you think of, just some random guy he picked up from Count T. Graham to do the editing, which I think the editing is top notch. Just from what I'm told.
Oh, yes, the editing is top notch in this film. I'm sure.
Have you seen this film before?
No, I saw the previews to it.
Oh, really? I wonder what that preview was from.
From the YouTubes.
Now, there is something right here about the budget and stuff. Did you want to read that?
That was information I don't have, but I do have other trivia bits, some of which you've already stepped on. So go ahead and read the budgeting.
Okay, the budget, it was made with 9,000 Irish pounds. That was before the whole Euro system took over in like
That doesn't
early
sound like
2000s. No, that's basically about, I'm guessing at this time, if you look back then, that'd be like 10,000 American dollars or 1,100 American dollars.
That's really cheap for a film.
That makes sense for some of the trivia bits that I got.
Let's hear the trivia bits.
Okay, well, this film was shot directly to VHS tape, or I guess I was corrected recently as it's Super VHS. Ooh,
Super VHS.
yeah, that super tape that we shoot movies on.
Yeah. Super VHS.
Ugh. This was Ireland's first martial art film. So it is.
Really?
It has some historical merit to it.
Okay. Do they do a lot now?
They don't do any ninja movies.
I don't know that they've done any since.
Like, is this a scene?
One of the car rollover scenes in this movie wasn't supposed to happen. Apparently, the stunt team got carried away, causing a real wreck that nearly killed some of the actors.
Oh no! Good golly, that's terrible.
And then, following this film's release, I guess monk sticks had to be regulated to stem the growth in topless barn fighting.
What?
I'm sorry, I'm completely lost. I don't understand what that means.
What is happening? What are we about to watch? What have you brought to us, Kevin? What was in this dumpster?
Well, this is the bottom shelf, and we like to watch bad movies.
So I'm going to point this out. From what Kevin's telling me is true about the budget, this had a sixth of the budget as Dark Star.
What? How much of the budget did it have of Velocipaster?
Oh, let me look it up.
Because if I remember Squid right, she said Velocipaster was made for 40 G's.
Yeah, well, Velocipaster, 36 Gs.
Okay.
still,
Either way, this is still more money than any of us has right now at this moment.
Yeah, but
This
like,
is a-
if I saved all my money, I could afford to make this movie by myself in a year.
you could do it with an iPhone.
And really, because what I seen in the previews, it looked like it was filmed on a Nokia.
A razor.
At least the cameras now are high definition, and yeah.
Let me give me this tape, man. There's some warning labels on this. Oh my gosh, John, do you have more trivia about this?
No, there's not a lot. Apparently, and big shocker here, it's not super big in the US, so there isn't a whole lot of trivia that I could find.
I gotcha.
Did you want to read the VHS description?
Huh? We'll read that later.
Okay.
Warning: we will make you want to live life, love, and survive, or possibly the exact opposite of that. What is happening? John, what do you think of this?
Trying to find. Oh, there they are. This label I'm seeing here, I don't understand it. It doesn't. I mean, it's written in English, but contains skinny knacker.
What? Are you okay over there, Kevin?
Apparently, I just spoke some. Apparently, I just spoke some of that blighty diety die language that Kevin was speaking earlier.
Oh gosh!
I wonder if any of the actors will find in this film.
Warning: this movie will look bad, and that's not good. What? What are we getting into?
Oh, sorry.
Warning: shows blood flow in the wrong direction.
What?
I don't even know.
Sounds like a 1950 movies if blood flows in the wrong direction.
All right. Well, just from the
does it flow in one direction?
Oh, shut up.
I knew that would get Kevin's goat because apparently he's all up with boy bands.
Oh yeah.
Just not the ones here
All right,
in the
so
States.
Just from what you guys have told me today, my expectations is this is not going to be a good day for me. So that's my expectations. How about you guys?
Oh, my expectation for this movie, Squid's not here to save this one. That's my expectation.
That's okay. She's not to be here.
I almost made Dallas spit water out on his microphone.
We need to make that a thing where we have the squid save. All right, Kevin, what's your expectations?
I have no expectations. Like I said, every time I go to a film, I really don't have expectations. But all I've heard from people is it's a movie you have to watch to experience at least once in your life, because this is considered, like I said, Ireland's worst film, and it's starting to get a cult following. So, when you get cult followings, it's like we got to watch the most terrible things. So I think that's what this is going after to be. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not. I guess we'll find out if this is truly one of the worst things we've ever seen in our lives.
Well
then, let's make this a thing, guys.
Yeah, let's do it.
Have anyone heard anyone from this film? Like anybody?
I'm looking at the list of actors on the back of the box. I have no idea who any of these people are.
None.
There's only one person on here, and he's the star of this film, and he works along Van Damme with his stunts in his movies.
Oh, so Van Damme's in the movie?
We'll find out. Let's see.
Okay.
Here we go.
Dear listeners, this is your opportunity to escape. Our crew has just entered into the media projection chamber. What horrors and madness that they consume are unknown. Their mental state upon their return is unknown. You have been warned.
Kevin, you're fired.
Okay, I'm just going to have to say something.
I'm strapping you to the next taco machine we eject out the building.
I believe after all this learning that my Irish Kung Fu and watching bad movies, I'm just going to start practicing meditation. That way it's better than just me sitting around and doing nothing all day.
I ha, so
Let
much
me read the
so much
description
I
for
want
folks here.
so much I want to talk about, but I can't because we're not in that section yet.
How about we just skip the
Let
section?
No.
Let me read the film description so people know what we just walked out of.
what
Yeah.
what was just inflicted upon us.
All right. A young Kenpo karate martial artist returns home after 10 years in reform school on a quest to find out who murdered his father. He is befriended by an old monk and a local Irish beauty. His search takes him to the prestigious Ballantine Martial Arts Tournament. Together with his past, the good guy is drawn into conflict with the local drug baron and his son. And the conflict makes the young man face his father's death in a way he could never have imagined.
You said father, and
I tried. I was trying to channel. I can't do it.
no, you gotta
Have you
say
read the-
fodder. Fodder.
Farter.
Have you read the front of this, though? Let me read it to you.
The what?
Tagline of the
Go
film.
ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
It
Do
says right here, I should have read this before we went inside. I'm sorry. It says a classic good versus evil action flick mixed with kicks, guns, motorcycles, and a hot babe.
I did not see a hot babe in this movie. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she looks like she could use some dental and some advice from how to.
I didn't see anything good about this film, but let's talk about the spoiler-free aspect of it. Spoiler-free thing number one, like John said, it was filmed on a flip phone Nokia.
So that's a
I
super
can barely
VHS.
see
Get it right.
anything.
Super VHS.
I've seen 8-bit videos that were more clear than this.
I don't know if that's true. I can't say I have.
It looked the entire film. It looked like they were in witness protection because it was so blurry.
I think I would have
There's loads of fog there, so that probably
loads of fog. Sir, for all I know, we just watched a steaming dog turd on celluloid for about an hour and a half, and I couldn't be entirely certain. When we got to the accidental car crash, I couldn't even see the car crash. There was just smoke everywhere. Okay,
right,
Kevin, can I ask you this? Are there no emission laws in Ireland?
There is no. It's probably because of this film.
Because of this film.
Every single dirt bike, and mind you, they weren't motorcycles; they were dirt bikes that they used in this movie.
They were dirt bikes.
Every single one of them was kicking out blue smoke, like everybody had blown head gaskets on their bike.
Okay. Here's the thing. When people think about Ireland and see all these grand, beautiful pictures they set you and so forth, those pictures are coming from two places in Ireland, Dublin and Cork. Everywhere else, it's like pure redneck country, and people don't really think of it like that.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Because the vehicles and everything else, like, you got Florida, and then you have California. You go to California, that's where you look at and you see Dublin, with politics
Right.
and everything else, cars, everything. And then when you go everywhere else, like County Meath, Kilkenny, and everywhere else, you're like, where am I? The land's beautiful and everything else, but why is this guy coming at me with like duct tape around his bike and having like loads of groceries in the back of his bike, carrying it back to his home in this double wide trailer? Well, that's the true side of Ireland. We just don't want to show you it.
That's the part. That's the Ireland I know, is the green and the. See, I know Ireland's.
Oh, you've been there too.
backside. No, I'm just familiar with
Then
it.
you don't.
Whatever. To quote the nuns in Sister Act, man, you don't have to bite the donut to know it's sweet.
That's a great line.
Yeah, I remember I bit into a keto donut and it was not sweet.
So about the actual movie itself, this film suffers from bad
Everything.
sound,
Bad
escaping.
everything.
Like there are times where I just couldn't hear things, not because of accents, but because it was just like the voices were too low, and like they had like they're trying to have sound effects up too loud, but it wasn't like really full. So like there was this really awkward silence at times. Like there's a whole scene in the front end of the movie where we meet our protagonist and some basically look like Bulk and Skull from Ireland, and like it was just this awkward, like really awkwardly shot scene. Like there's a lot of scenes that could have been pared down to help the pacing of the film, but the pacing was just awkward.
How much short do you want? It's only 75 minutes.
I was going to say this movie's only 70 something minutes long, but it felt like an hour and 3/4. It felt longer than what it was.
Felt like a James Cameron film length.
So
this is a film someone I would say have to watch if you want to know every single bad thing you should not do in the film. This film shows you this is exactly what happens when you do every bad thing against the books.
You can watch this movie, and when you watch it, you know none of these punches are connecting.
Like, oh yeah,
like when you can see the space between someone's fist and the guy's head, and he still acts like he's been hit. I mean, this was like watching people LARP. I mean, that's what it felt like. Someone got their Sony Handycam and they filmed themselves LARPing is all that was.
Well, you don't want to hurt your friends.
Oh my god!
That's why he basically got like everyone from his town and County Meth, and he was like, "Okay, guys, here lads, lasses, we've got a film to make. I want you to stand behind me because I'm about to enter this film into this karate thing, because if I get accepted, I'll be in future films," which he has been in future films. He works besides Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is quite impressive.
Well,
So
you can
start from here.
Speaking of Van Damme.
Oh my gosh, how many pictures of Van Damme did he own? I think sorry.
That's not my problem. My problem is how many different Van Damme scenes did he directly rob?
All
like
of
it was
them.
sitting there. It was like he put in he put in the VHS. He goes, "See that? Make that happen."
We need to
and
do
then he
this.
just posed to be like, I was like, "Are we watching Bloodsport all of a sudden?"
No,
because there's no budget.
Hang on to that thought, Dallas, for the spoilers, because I got both barrels.
Bloodsport meets Kickboxer meets everything else Van Damme's ever
So
done.
much. I have so much.
So much what?
Do we have any other spoiler-free comments before we jump into a spoiler section?
I need to get in the spoiler section because
Would you like a picnic? I think I should make a picnic, and we should get some apples and oranges and maybe a bottle of wine. That sounds like a good idea for a picnic.
Hey, Kevin. Kevin.
I got so much to say about the picnic scene.
Kevin, close your
What?
eyes. Close your eyes.
No, I'm not closing my eyes. Someone told me to close my eyes once, and I was already duct taped to a chair. I'm not doing that again.
John, take us into the spoiler section.
Ladies and gentlemen, the spoiler section.
Okay, we're officially in our spoiler section. Spoiler number 1. What was up with the repetitive, terrible late 90s music videos?
It was the 90s. That's not what John always says. You don't understand, bro. It's the 90s. It's the thing that they do.
It wasn't, dude. That was in the 90s. In the 90s, the music that we listened to had lyrics that would rhyme and they would make sense, and the songs would be about something.
The music video would tell a story.
I thought the music told a story. It told you exactly what you're supposed to feel when you're watching the scene. It's like, well, okay, sad.
Okay.
Let's play the sad.
This is how the music would go in this movie. Yeah, sometimes life is hard and sad stuff, and things happen and they're not good, and puppy dogs get hit by cars.
What?
And sometimes girls will leave you.
Keep it up, man.
I mean, seriously, apparently you're enjoying it because over in Ireland, your lines don't have to rhyme or.
Well, because they're
be
supposed to tell a
good.
story. It's not about rhyming words. That's how come, you get the same writer who writes the same songs for every other band out here. They just secretly don't say their names. But anyways, yeah, the songs suck.
It was bad.
It was terrible.
Okay,
I
so
think this is one of the worst openings I've ever seen for a film.
This is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
I know, but I have to say, this is the worst opening I've ever seen. It's like, I don't know how to open this film. Let's just throw some words up.
Did anybody see the name of the school that he was going to?
It's a reform boys' school.
What?
He's like, I'm 23. I think it's time to leave the boys' school now.
Right, but did you see the name of the school? It was the Saint Jean Claude Reform School.
No, are you for real?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! I don't want to go back in and confirm.
Did you not see all the 50 pictures he had of Jean-Claude Van Damme on his wall?
I saw that. I didn't realize it's a school.
They were all,
That's terrible.
He found a house. He's like, "This is a house. I'm going to hang this plaque over and let's walk out." And oh my gosh, he had every picture of Jean-Claude Van Damme from everything he could printed up. This is what he did. He went down to the local thrift store, bought every frame he could, bought him like a big bulk, printed all the pictures of the library, and just hung them up inside the walls.
Not good. Like this guy. Okay. Two things about this movie that just rubbed me wrong right off the front.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be Jean-Claude Van Damme in the worst way. Like this is beyond just similarities. Like this is full on fanfic. This is me as Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm gonna wear his skin style movie making.
Oh my gosh! I think he bought all the oil in bulk from him.
Like his clothes were exactly the same thing Jean-Claude would wear in his films.
Yes.
The action, the scenes in the front end where he's like posing and stretching, those are all just direct. Let me just copy what was done in the Jean-Claude film.
I'm doing the splits in the air and meditating.
Yeah,
all of that. The other thing that really annoyed me about this movie is his character had his exact name.
Everyone had their exact name. Everyone had their exact name.
That is bad movie making 101.
It made it easy for everyone on set. So it's like, "Hey, John." And it was like, "What's John?" It's like, "The only John." "Oh, right." "Shade, come here." "All right."
That's no bueno.
Like the only thing that wasn't Jean Von I can't think of his name. Jean-Claude. The only thing that was not a Jean-Claude Van Damme ripoff was being trained by Dollar Tree Gandalf.
Dollar Tree Gandalf.
That's the only thing that was different.
Kevin, do they have Kung Fu monks over in Ireland that wear brown robes all over the place like it's not weird?
No.
I feel like
now it'd probably be different like if you're in Dublin, but those are a bunch of idiots still live in Dublin. But anyways, other than that, ignore that.
I feel like this movie
dressed like that.
I feel like this movie misrepresents Ireland. And on the behalf of this movie, Ireland, I want to apologize to you.
Okay, this movie perfectly represents Ireland and what it's like day by day life in County Met. The people with their haircuts and what the clothes they wear. Oh, Adidas clothing.
Like as far as like even the story itself, like walking through the story, it was so difficult to follow what was going on. Partially because the pacing made it so hard to be invested in anything, but the cutovers and everything else, you're just like, what is even happening in this movie? Like I was legitimately, I lost track of the fact that there was, why did he have to fight in the tournament? I missed the fact why he had to fight in the tournament.
To make the bad guys look bad.
Okay, I guess that's the answer, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just, it's all, I had no reason to be invested.
But he also had to fight. He needed to, because like he got invited in the tournament and he's like, all yay. But then apparently and I'm using this phrase very loosely, but I'm going to use the terminology. I'm going to use the terminology that the movie makers used. The air quotes babe was kidnapped by the bad guys. And so he had to lose in the tournament if he was going to save her. So, and then Obi-Wan Mick Kenobi told him, "You must use the Force and beat him."
Oh my gosh.
Expect the unexpected.
Like, seriously, I'm sitting here watching this movie and I'm like, I'm watching Kickboxer. Like, this is Kickboxer.
Yeah.
That's all this movie is. It's Kickboxer. You know, if they could get like 5 more Irish kung fu people and had them been on a team, it would have been best of the best. Like, this is the most, like, if this movie was made in the 80s, it would have been a hit. Just the terrible competition kung fu movies. Because, I mean, that was all the rage in the 80s. You had Kickboxer, Bloodsport, Best of the Best.
Bloodsport 2.
Bloodsport 2, The Karate Kid.
I was wondering.
I feel like Karate Kid had a little bit more story than Bloodsport.
But it's all the same. It's just there was an infatuation with kung fu tournaments. You know, I mean, Steven Seagal had a career in the late 80s and early 90s.
He did.
He was not a good actor.
Let me ask this. Are we being too harsh on the film because we are so removed, not just by time, but by American culture? Like, while Kevin here, he's our resident Irishman. He's still, I mean, you're an American Irishman for the most part. I mean, you have a very American mindset about things. So are we just too separated from it to appreciate it?
No.
And Kevin's like, everything you're saying is correct. Keep on saying it.
Well, I'm not sure if we're going that far. So I was going to, crap, I had my mind. I was going to say in the big, I suddenly remembered something. As I'm watching the movie, everybody walks everywhere. I don't understand because people have bicycles, they ride buses. And I'm just now probably realizing why they never had any transportation is because he wrecked the car at the very end of the movie. So that was the very first probably scene he had to do. And they're like, okay, we already got rid of the biggest, most action scene done. So that was our car to go back and forth with. So we have no more cars except for the rest of these bikes and one car left. So let's use that because buses in Ireland run fantastic. Every 30 minutes, there's another bus coming. So when people's like, I couldn't ride the bus, I'm like, no, you couldn't afford to ride the bus. They probably use every penny they had, so they probably couldn't afford it. So I guess as soon as the bus already drove by, it's like, okay, let's shoot the scene and have me walking. I'm like, everybody knows you don't have to walk down any of these streets. A bus will pick you up. In fact, a bus driver may be nice enough and go like, you know what, I'll give you a ride from here to there and just don't say nothing to anybody. I'll just turn my head the other way. I'm like, why is he walking everywhere? None of these streets you have to walk down.
Maybe he wants the exercise, Kevin. Did you think of that?
Yeah, I think he was so much like trying to warm down from all of his workouts that he's trying to show off his muscles. Okay, this guy looks pretty freaking good. I'm going to be honest. Like, he's physique. Like, he has been trained for this.
Oh,
he's
no
23
doubt.
in this film.
No doubt. He was cut. He was cut, but the fact of it is that he just couldn't act. Like, it was nobody in this film delivered a single believable line.
Oh, I think the most believable ones was those 35-year-olds in the grocery store taking away the old man's cart.
I don't think they knew we were in the movie. I don't think people in the grocery store knew they were in the movie. I think they're looking around like, what's happening?
Oh, speaking of that beginning, what was up with that? Stick my foot in your face and then you run off.
It was a scene from a Van Damme movie.
But I mean, it wasn't even like,
it wasn't good.
It wasn't intimidating. It was just like, he didn't kick his foot up there. He's just like slowly raised his foot and he's like, here's my foot. And the other guy is like, oh, athlete's foot, run.
Those two guys that you seen, those were the directors of the film.
I don't.
That's why they look still 35-year-olds. Like, wait a minute, you're the directors of this film. And it's like, you couldn't find any teenagers to do this. You could find teenagers to do this kind of crap. It was just so bad. He sees the guys, he's like picking on a woman, and they don't do any. I mean, yeah, they're stupid. They throw away food and everything else. But he goes and kicks him right in the balls and kicks him against the paper tower. I'm like, you're doing more damage than they are.
He was.
It's not nice. It's not nice to pick on a lady. Go pick on somebody your own size.
Oh my gosh.
He just pops out of nowhere. Oh. There's so many 5-minute scenes of him cleaning areas and doing something in an abandoned land. Oh my gosh, it's like he's not even trying. It's like, here's a 5-minute scene.
How much of this movie was somebody doing magic kung fu gestures at a fireplace or in the air?
Well, see, like, real talk about that. Here's a theory. What if he never intended for this to be a movie, but rather this was like Plan 9 from Outer Space? He had a series of test shots of doing stuff, and then he went, hey, let's make a movie around these test shots. What if he had just gone out in the middle of nowhere, did a whole bunch of test shots of him doing kung fu stuff to try to get into actual kung fu stuff, and he's like, let me make a movie out of these.
That's exactly what this is. Because he had to prove that he had something of a feature length. He had to be in the entry level of something. So he just went around and just created something. He's like, I have to enter something inside this film festival to prove that I can actually film something and that I actually do karate. Which he's a black belt in like 3 different forms of kung fu. What, Tom?
That's not what Dallas is saying though. He's just saying like the kung fu. It's just like what the dude's dad was doing the whole entire time and stuff like that was just a bunch of test shots, and they built a movie around it. But I would say if you want to believe that, Dallas, you're welcome to, but that also means that you didn't watch after the movie was over with during the blooper reels, because they showed them literally filming those parts.
Oh, I know. I want to ignore that part, but I'm trying to explain it away. Like there's so many things that were just so terrible. Like example, the cutaways when they're at the park having a picnic, and all of a sudden like he closes his eyes, all of a sudden there's a shotgun in his face. Where did this old man suddenly appear from? Is he a ninja? Did he just like ninja teleport right there or something like that? How did he get there with a shotgun?
I got 2 words for you. Leprechaun magic.
So we need to sign your shoes, boy. You took me gold. You shot my boy.
Me boy. No. And I'm going to say something I never thought I would say. I felt that the sex scene in Velocipaster was more tasteful than the sex scene that was in this movie.
That was just awkwardly thrown in.
It was the most awkward 5 seconds that was in this film. I'm like,
it was like,
These 5 seconds felt like an entire 5 minutes. And I'm like, why is this in here? This has no purpose. Like all these when you did the flashback scenes, like these are supposed to be flashback scenes of scenes that we already saw. We don't see any of these flashback scenes at all whatsoever. Like, when did this happen? When she was his flashback heartfelt memories is when she's riding the bike. He's on top of the bike shooting the gun. Like, that wasn't in the movie.
And why is that a fond moment for you? He's like, I love the feeling of bullets whizzing past my ear. Don't you, dear? It's romantic.
All his fond moments was beating and killing guys. Because it gets all to like karate, beating people up and everything. It's just randomly just popping up just to save this blonde woman. And nothing happens until right when it hits that, what was it, the motorcycle scene. Then it's like, okay, now we got to go full killing on them. But it's like, dude, you don't even know these guys. Why are you killing them? They're not even near you. Why are you going out of your way to chase these guys on the bikes in the woods to go punching them, kicking them, and killing them?
I just had the thought that scene felt a little bit like an homage to the Endor scene, the Endor speed bike scene in Return of the Jedi.
Just to do it.
At least that scene had more purpose than this one.
How many Star Wars references? Like last episode, there was a Star Wars conversation.
I'm just saying.
This episode, there's Star Wars.
Oh, and if we want to reference the last episode too, I'm going to say I am offended at their use of shotguns in this movie again.
Yes.
He was using like
I'm
a
offended by
super
other use
soaker, pump, trigger, pump, trigger, pump, trigger, pump, trigger, pump. It's like, dude, you're not even allowing a full
Okay,
pump. You're
I'm like-
just going away at it.
And not only that, but you watch the guys who have like the sawed-off shotguns. They have the most apathetic looks on their faces while they're just trying to mow down this guy with the bajillion shells that are in these sawed-off shotguns. And when they pull the trigger, there's no kick. There is no kick to this gun. If you have a sawed-off, I am sorry, but if you have a sawed-off shotgun, that thing's gonna buck on you. I don't care how strong you are. That thing's gonna buck, and they're just like, it's just my shotgun.
Their use of guns was terrible to begin with. Like when I wish I was Jean-Claude Van Damme picked up the gun the first time, like his fingers are on the trigger and like he's pulling the trigger multiple times while he's like checking the chamber. I'm like, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden another guy comes up and appears to shoot him, but doesn't. And he just kind of follows, shooting back outward at the guy. Like it's like these guys have never seen a gun.
Or when he pulls the Daffy Duck shooting maneuver, when there's two people on the other side, you know, when Daffy Duck's like, he went that way.
Yeah.
And crosses his arms and points in opposite directions, except he's doing that with his guns when there's people on opposite sides of him. I have an idea. Why not just stick your arms straight out and have more accuracy and control over what you're doing?
If it wasn't for the fact I know for a fact that Equilibrium came out after this film, I would have thought they were just trying to copy Equilibrium, do some sort of gung fu stuff.
It was offensive to me as a firearm, a trained firearm owner. It just no. You okay there, Kevin?
I wonder if
I'm just waiting to finish. That's all.
looking a little blue, Kevin.
Dabba dee dabba die.
Oh, he did play loads of Tomb Raider games. Probably got that for that. I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to talk about the Irish Godfather scene.
Oh,
please bring that up.
Yes,
let's
talk
Kevin.
about that.
Kevin, lead us up in the conversation.
I think he paid this person in Tullamore Dew and Jameson because he couldn't put down his glass. You see that one scene when he's right there talking to Mikey from the Boys Guy, and he's right there holding the glass, and he's like 10 seconds to put the glass down. He's like, "It's going there," and he couldn't remember his lines. He couldn't say things properly because I'm just listening to it. It's like, dude, you're stumbling over your lines, even with the cuts they're putting inside. He looks directly in the camera. That one scene. Oh my god!
That dude looked more in the camera than the priest did in Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yes. Oh, it shows the that old wizard guy. What would you say? The Dollar Tree Gandalf.
Dollar Tree Gandalf.
He hangs this thing like Martin Luther, printing off a scroll and then hammers it to a tree.
Yeah, it's on regular printer paper with a picture of a scroll on it.
This is passed out for generations.
He couldn't even think. He couldn't like make a paper feel old or anything. He's like, I'm printing this one off. This is something I'm just going to use my what's it called? The Photoshop. Take away the 10 Commandments and put this on and just hammer it to a tree.
Behold, the ancient art of clip art.
Like, I was half surprised didn't have the little tear off piece of papers on the side for the Scantron to hold on to the printer.
So you expect to see Clippy in the bottom corner. I see you're making a tournament invitation.
No one sees this.
The memes that we have to create for this thing.
But I want to talk about my most favorite scene in this movie. There's one scene I say I love in this movie because it just I'm sorry, but it's the bar fight scene. That scene was so top notch. He filmed this. I bet you he filmed this on a Sunday afternoon when there's not a single soul around, and you had those two guys who's like guarding the bar. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are they guarding? There's no one around. Can't put him inside. He goes inside and sees those monks inside are drinking and playing ball. He just put everyone's like, hey, everybody from the village, since you're not going to church or you're calling out or whatever, come inside this bar and let's drink and let's shoot this scene. Everything he did, he's like, that was straight blueprint from. I know I can't remember what Jean-Claude movie that was from, but that was blueprint. Even the camera moves in when that guy pours the Smithwicks. But yeah, when I see that, when he's like pours it over, it's like you intentionally poured it. You can't even pour it over bad. You just like, here you go, pour it over and punches and kicks the guys and has that shock. Calls him a racist name.
Do we have anything else of value to add to this conversation?
There was nothing of value in this movie to even discuss. How am I supposed to add value to it? I mean,
the girl just pops up every once in a while in the film. It's like, wait, where'd you come from? All of a sudden she's gone. He's fighting, and she's all of a sudden back, and they're both dressed up. Like, where are you getting your clothes from? Why are you so dressed up?
I mean, honestly, this movie parallels Velocipaster so much in my head. Mm-hmm. But in the same sense, I have to appreciate Velocipaster more because Velocipaster was being intentionally stupid, whereas this one was actually making a genuine effort and just failing on every single level.
Right.
So it's just like, which one is the worst tragedy?
You can see he was trying. You can see, even though he was trying, failing at everything. You want to talk about?
Is it worse to fail on purpose or on accident? That's the question.
I think it's worse to fail on purpose than on accident. I always think it's forced to fail on purpose because you're intentionally trying to do something wrong, and it's like, okay, you're not even. I appreciate someone who tries to do something but fail and then learn from their mistakes, and someone who's failing on purpose just to say, hey, we're cult status. I'm like, no, now you're trying.
Well, okay, here's a question. Did he learn from his mistakes? Did he himself produce better films? Not stuff that he guessed it in, but did he produce better films later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Higher budget ones. I mean, yeah, it's nothing we really heard. It's just like something you get from like Extreme Asia videos and so forth, where he trains other people in the martial arts because this is what he loves. He loves martial arts. He loves doing karate. Like I said, he has black belts. Now, at that time it was 3. Now it's like 6 different trainings. He has his own studio, which I know he trained out here in California, and he trains back in Ireland people how to do martial arts.
So basically, he's Chuck McNorris.
Yeah. He just doesn't have. Well, I think he has a beard now.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I just looked the dude up on IMDb.
Yeah.
He was in Kickboxer. Retaliation.
Does not surprise me. Well, that sounds like it was like one of the direct-to-video sequels that they made for Kickboxer.
It is.
Yes.
But it doesn't surprise me. I mean, that I'm surprised that that guy didn't go out of his way to try to have a romantic relationship with Jean-Claude Van Damme, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at his IMDb. He legitimately got to work with Jean-Claude. So
several times.
I applaud him for that. I applaud that he had a goal and he reached it. He goes, hey, I'm going to do this. And he did. So well done to you, sir. Well done indeed.
This is a little off the topic, but we've been discussing things and it keeps popping in my head. And it's about a movie that will never be on this show. But do you know who originally was screen tested to play as the Predator in the Predator movies?
Jean-Claude, right?
Yeah.
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 Isn't that wild?
That is crazy.
Yeah, he didn't like the color suit. He thought that was the actual Predator.
I don't think we're going to be able to say anything without just
him running around with the pink suit. Like, wait,
this movie some more.
Yeah, we're starting to go down a hole.
Well, you don't want to talk about the Mortal Kombat scene using the Matrix screen filter,
dude. Okay.
They picked the biggest Irishman they found, like was 8 feet tall. I'm like, dude, this guy's stacked and tall, and he's the American guy. I'm
glad you said the words Mortal Kombat because that just reminded me of something. in this movie, every time they showed the compound where the Mick Godfather was stationed at, they would play this gong sound.
Yeah.
Was anybody else expecting the Mortal Kombat theme song to start every time they hit that? Like, it's the exact note, just a boing. And I'm expecting to hear test your might.
It would have made it better. It would have made the movie better.
I was expecting like Bruce Lee to be jumping out of the corner or something.
It's just every time they hit that gong, it was the right note for the right duration, and it's just like Mortal Kombat. Anyway, I digress. I wanted to. I think if the. I hate saying this, but I think a good soundtrack could have saved this movie.
That's a long way to go.
I think, well, let's get to the ratings because I'm about to tip my hand here. So,
all right.
Well, I would say this film has 3 endings. So, you got to make sure when you watch the movie, if you see the first ending, that's not the ending. It's going to go again. It's going to keep on going to get the final ending. It's like, okay, now the movie's over.
That's true. All right, John, what is your rating, sir?
Okay. So like I said, I think if this movie had a decent soundtrack, it would have saved this movie. And when I say saved this movie, I'm not saying it would have put it on the middle shelf. I think if it would have had a decent soundtrack, it would have saved it in that I wouldn't feel compelled to throw it in the dumpster fire because that's where I'm rating it. This movie is a giant dumpster fire. I didn't enjoy it. The whole entire time I was watching it, I was thinking about getting up and making something to eat. Like there was nothing that was the only thing that kept me watching this movie was because I had to for the show.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to finish it. I didn't want to watch it. I kept like this movie. When a movie feels longer than what it is, it's overstayed its welcome. And it felt too long after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't entertained. There was nothing redemptive to it. It just dumpster fire. Stick it in the fire. Let's burn it. I'll put it on top of Ong.
For Kevin, how about you, man? What's your final rating?
My final rating for this film is the bottom shelf. The reason why I say the bottom shelf is because I think this is something someone should watch just because they have to at least watch once to acknowledge and understand everything you should not do into a film. This is what you see. That way it gives you a blueprint. It's like, hey, I want to make a movie, but what should I not do? Here, watch this movie right here. And this will explain to you. And you don't need a degree or anything else. This will explain to you everything you should not do in the film. This is what happens when you try to make a film and you have passion. You want to make a film that you love to do, but this shows you everything you should not do. This is the kind of music you do not play into a film. This is not the type of edits, whatever the edits were, because this was, the edits was a headache in this film. You don't do the edits this way. You have a cohesive storyline from beginning to end to know and tell the people what was Fatal Deviation. What was Fatal Deviation? Because the monks said it at the fighting scene, like they'd start chanting all together, Fatal Deviation, Fatal Deviation. I'm like, what is Fatal Deviation?
Didn't even explain it. I'm like, what is happening here? Yeah. I'm straight up going, did I miss it? Did I have an ADD moment and just lose time in the film? Where did he explain Fatal Deviation?
What was the fire stick scene? What was that? At least have the monk. If you already train karate, you train kung fu, you could not afford or find any of your students and yellow belt, red belt, whatever belt to be in the karate film with you. You find everybody else. Come on, say, hey, I'll knock off 100 pounds off of your monthly thing if you just star in my karate film. You could do that. You could do that,
bro. This was early 90s. I'm sure money was probably...
Shut up about your early 90s, 80s, 70s. Hang on. I'm tired of hearing you.
Money was probably tight during the time. So,
Pause. You said the wrong words. This was not early 90s, John. This was 1998, John.
Fine. This was the 90s. Money was probably tight for them. What it probably was, if you like take the soundtrack that they had off there and played what was really going on, they probably had some Chemical Brothers or the crystal method going, and they couldn't afford glow sticks, so they were rolling E and just having their own personal rave with fire sticks is all that was.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Geek Devotions does not promote drug use and paraphernalia.
I mean, at least it had a cool car crash and watch him explode as he jumps off the screen.
Despite the fact that it wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, and did everybody notice that all the cars in the action scenes had their windshields taken out of them?
Yes. Because they couldn't get past. I had a feeling it was because they couldn't get past the glare.
Yeah, that's why. It had to be the biggest thing.
All right, Dallas. This man tried, and everyone. I guess they did try. So it wasn't like they were doing this on purpose. He had intention on why he did it. So I would appreciate that. But, we have a dumpster fire. We have a bottom shelf. Where are you putting this movie, Dallas?
Oh, it's going to go on the top shelf for me. And
you shut your dirty mouth.
So Kevin already pulled that in the last episode. Don't do that again.
What did you call me? A cheeky blunt? All right. So
that was the poster design. That's what that was.
For me, legitimately, I have a lot of grace for small films and for people trying to do stuff.
Don't do this to me, Dallas.
I try to put my head, okay, 98. This is a time frame of Highlander, the TV series. That was awkward at times.
I never watched Highlander. They had a budget.
I would say this. This film, he tried. He had passion. He had a goal, and he accomplished his goal. He worked with Jean-Claude. But this is not a movie that I can recommend to anybody because it's not good. I never want to watch this movie again. This is going in the dumpster fire right now.
Burn that sucker.
Throw it in the dumpster fire. Light it up. Kevin, pull out the flamethrower and light her up.
You can go ahead and light it up. I know. I can understand if anybody throws this in the dumpster fire. I can understand. I really do. I'm not even mad at those decisions.
It's a disputed dumpster fire.
Toss it in there. Light her up.
All right. Well, now that we got the bonfire going and we're getting out the hot dogs for the cookout, let's go ahead and swing on over to the Weak Connection section.
While we're cooking hot dogs, why can't we just cook something like shepherd's pie?
What?
I'm trying to think of every racist thing that John will say to me right now.
I've given Kevin Stockholm syndrome. He is stereotyping himself now. Have I gaslit you that much? Kevin, I am so sorry I hurt you. I must make reparations. I'll make sure to have plenty of potatoes and O'Douls here when you show up.
I don't even drink O'Douls. That's stuff you get to high schoolers.
All right, Weak Connections, everybody.
This is a Weak Connection.
Much love to Matt for that. I'm going to say that every single time because that is an amazing take.
All right. Weak Connection. This is where we draw some sort of weak connection from the films that we endure and give it some sort of hope, give it some sort of spirituality. And this film. I have a weak connection for us, guys.
I'm glad somebody does.
I'm glad somebody does because I don't have nothing.
It actually is inspired by Make-A-Wish Foundation Gandalf. And that is simply this. This is an older gentleman who has been around for a while. He had purpose, and his purpose was at one point in time to train the dude's dad. Like that was. I know we didn't talk about it very much, but that was the thing. He trained the kid's dad, and now he's here. He's an older gentleman, and there's a lot of older folks. Just being real with you, there's a lot of older folks who have served a purpose. They lived a life, and they get towards the end of their life, and they go, "What's my purpose? What's my point? I feel like I have nothing left to give." This guy for whatever reasons, not sure because the movie's incomprehensible to understand, felt like he had a purpose still, and he trained this young man up. He gave life. He passed on something to this young man who needed some guidance. He needed some direction to get to a tournament that nobody understood. But still, he sought purpose and he gave life. And at the same time, this young man had to be willing to accept that. This young man had to be able to go, I need this older gentleman's help. I need him to help guide me. I need him to help to pour life into me. He still has something to give. And so my encouragement is simply this: whether you're one of those individuals who are on the upper end of the spectrum, I know we have several people who listen to the show who are up in age, if you will, and you still have purpose. You're not done. Your journey is not done. There's still more for you to do and for you to pass down. And I want to encourage you: pass down your stories, pass down what you have. Maybe you feel like you're in a situation where nobody's there to listen to you. Write that sucker down. Start a podcast, tell stories. I don't care, but pass it down. And I want to encourage younger individuals to listen to the elders around you. Take time just to sit down with some older people that are in your life, your grandparents, maybe your mom and dad, maybe some old folks at your church or your job, and just ask them questions. Ask them about their life. You'd be surprised what you learn and how you personally can grow from being in a relationship with these individuals. So that is my weak connection.
As you were talking, Dallas, I actually came up with a weak connection.
Let's go, man.
Because you put a thought in my brain and I was able to build it out. Granted, it's not going to be as fleshed out as yours was, but my weak connection actually comes from Proverbs 22:6, which is train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And in this movie, we see several scenes of Jimmy, when he was a child, being trained up by his father to defend himself and to do what's right in the face of adversity. And as he grows older, he carries that out through this film, trying to defend those around him in the face of adversity from the McGodfather. And so just like him, Christian adults should train up their children to do what is right, and, they won't depart from it. Sometimes they might walk away, but they're always going to have that seed within them, and they have the ability to return to it. So there is encouragement there as well as instruction. So I'm just going to put that out there as well.
Word. I like it.
Even if it means blowing off the Godfather's head off with a shotgun.
Hey,
good golly.
It would have been
a lovely date picnic.
Would have been better if he would have used a tent spike.
I mean, we're getting biblical there.
Yeah, we can go like David's like, hey, I cut off this giant's head. Here you go.
I mean, just saying.
Oh, man. Well, that's our
awkward silence.
Well, that's our week connection for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. It has been a blast talking about this film. Thank you, Kevin, for pulling this out of the dumpster and showing it to us, because now I can say I've experienced something new. So, Kevin, where can people find you?
You can find me where you can find me.
What does that mean?
Expect the unexpected. Find me in places you'll never know. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram. You can find me here in Jacksonville, Florida, minding my business. Find me under as the Dapper Bane Reviews.
Funny. John, how can people find you, bud?
You can find me all over the place, playing games with strangers, The Bottom Shelf, my band Mezzanine. I play Nick Foster on Supersonic Pod Comics. The Randoms. We Read Allegedly is coming soon. Primitive Rhythm Machine. I think I got everything on there. April coming up is going to be superhero month. We are going to be doing the Captain America movie, not from the MCU, mind you. It's going to be the 1990 Captain America. And then we're going to take
another one?
Oh,
I
there
didn't
was
know
one.
another one.
There was one in 1990, sir. And then we are also doing The Punisher from 1989, starring Dolph Lundgren. So good times to be had there. So Dallas, why don't you go ahead and close this out for us?
All right. Well, guys, I'm excited about what's coming down the pipeline. I hope you guys are too. If you want to connect with me, you can find me at geekdevotions.com for all things Geek Devotions, including the bottom shelf. And special announcement for everybody here. In August, we are going to be at an event called GeekCon. Geek Devotions is. We're going to have a booth. And fun story, Kevin and John will both be there also. And so if you guys want to come up and meet the entire team of the bottom shelf at GeekCon, come say hi.
Am I being there? I don't know yet. I'm trying to be there.
But we'll find out. We maybe Kevin may not be there. He maybe have a burlap sack over his head and John in the background trying to take his gold still.
He's going to give me his gold.
Shut up. I'll do my best to be there at the con. I can't guarantee anything.
Cosplay as a leprechaun, Kevin.
I am not cosplaying as a leprechaun. I am not doing that.
Do it.
No.
Do it for
Who
the
knows?
people.
I might die in a car crash doing some fatal deviation with a car, okay? It might explode, and I apologize in advance if that happens.
Dress up like a kung fu leprechaun.
I am not doing a kung fu leprechaun. Get the leprechaun out of your head, okay? There's so much others, okay? Maybe I go as the faceless ghost from Spirited Away.
I'm doing no face, bro. I've already
no face. Yeah, I already have my costume for no face.
Yeah, well, I'll have one when I'm down there too.
We're planning on that.
Maybe I'll come as Spider-Man Noir.
That'd be cool, actually. That'd be lit.
Maybe I'll come as Fat Prince.
Okay, so with that.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to our podcast. And if you like the show, please like, rate, subscribe. That puts us in front of other like-minded individuals. And feel free to tell somebody about this podcast. That helps us out a lot. And until next time, love and peace.
Peace and love. Yeah.
Peace.
Good night, everybody.